Most AI agents are demos. They look very cool in videos, but they can't do anything real. I wanted to test the limit, so I built an actual marketing agency. They do lead intake, brand research, content creation, and client delivery, all run by an army of agents. So no meetings, no project managers, just agents working together like a real business. And if it works, it changes how we look at AI automation. So I'm sharing all the prompts in the prompt library that I link to in the description, so you can actually build whatever you want. So let me show you how to do this. Okay, so this complete marketing agent will be built in Lovable. But to do that, we obviously need a good first prompt. And before we start, I will explain in detail how this actually works, because it's a big project. I mean, we are now building a whole company that takes care of everything and something that can run automatically. I mean, that's a big job. And I've created this flowchart which will explain everything. So, as you can see here, it all starts with a landing page. So someone is looking for our service, and it goes to the landing page and it will see, okay, they handle social media posts, and for 1 month I can order 30 posts, and it has a request form. So the person sees this and thinks, okay, let's do it. It fills in a form so that we can really understand their business, what they want, who they are, and it has company info, social handles, content needs, brand assets, and example posts. And from that, our lead agent will be the first agent to interact with the user. And it will check the input, checks the budget, and do some score quality. So is this person actually someone who is serious? Is this a brand that we can actually help? And this is basically the first interaction that we have, where we just check, hey, can we work together? Are we a fit? We have an approved option and a rejected option. So if we approve it, we say, okay, let's work together. We create an account for them. So we set up their account and send a welcome email. And this welcome email just says, hey, we are very happy to work with you. And this will be within a minute after inputting the request form. So they get this email, they will have their email address, their password, and the URL where they can log into their environment. Give me 10 seconds. If you are enjoying this video and learning anything from it, please don't hesitate to like and subscribe, because a lot of more content like this will be coming out soon. So after we send the email, we immediately create this dashboard for them. But when they click on the welcome email, they first need to pay. So we'll use a Stripe checkout for it, and within a few clicks they can just pay and they get actually access to their dashboard. So what is then happening is then we have a brand research agent which scrapes the post from APIify and really does research to this business. We analyze the tone, the style, we extract the brand voice, and we store everything in Mem0. And Mem0 is the best tool for actually storing information about specific persons, a specific brand, and it will enhance the quality of everything that we build. The next thing is we create a content scheduler. So we create 30 post records and we set a create content at date. And this will make sure that we have a date on which we will create a post and notify the person like, hey, we create this new post. And we set the status of everything to scheduled. And be aware, this is all done directly in Lovable. We are not using any Python for this. This is all very automatically and works purely in Lovable. So we create Cron jobs, which runs hourly and basically checks if the created at date is due, so we need to start creating the post. We will select this post and we'll use the content strategist agent, and it will retrieve the brand voice from Mem0 and it will determine a theme and create a brief. So basically it will work exactly like a marketing agency. It will first think about what we are actually going to create, and then this agent purely does this. So after it has done this, it will basically send this to another agent which can actually start creating the post. So it will be sent to a copywriter agent. It writes the caption, it adds hashtags and uses proven frameworks that actually work. So what is now happening is we have this feedback loop, exactly how it works in an actual marketing agency. So we have this visual prompt agent which creates a Nano Banana prompt and includes brand's colors. It will then use the image generator agent which calls the Nano Banana API, but we have this quality control agent, and this will review the caption plus the image and checks the brand alignment. And if it needs a revision, it will send it back to the copywriter agent with feedback, and the whole process will start all over again. If it is then approved, we'll use the delivery agent, and it will send an email notification with, hey, we got your post ready. It will update the dashboard, and in the email we have the URL to the actual post. So we then change the status of this specific post to ready for client. The client views the content, copies the caption, downloads the image. It will maybe request a revision, and we can mark it as used. If we reject the whole client, we just send a rejection email, and that's it. And we can actually scale this very easily because this will just run every day and will deliver the service every day. No delays, and yeah, it's really amazing this. It's a big project, and imagine what you can do with this. If you have this, you throw good marketing on it, you'll actually get some clients. So I think this is clear now. We obviously need to start with a good prompt. So I will use my prompt library for this. Now we shortly need to look at the prompt because we are going to create postcraft, and we explain something about our brand personality, our visual style. We have a tone of voice, and it needed to be not AI-ish. We have our headline, your social content handled. We have a how it works section. We have a pricing section. We have different tiers. So we have our Instagram tier and our multi-platform tier, which is Instagram and LinkedIn. We then have a social proof section and FAQ section. And this is purely focused on most of the front end and a bit of the back end. And as you can see here, we have a collaboration request form, which is a very clean form where in the first step, we need to add the basics. In the second step, we need to add the brand info. And the third step is the brand assets. Then we have the form validation, which will make sure as basically a first check if every input is filled in correctly. Then we have a little bit of backend. So we do lead qualification because we don't want to work with everyone. Our clients need to fit our brand. Our clients need to fit our brand. So what we do is after form submission, we trigger a lead qualification agent. So basically what I already told you in the flow is now explained here as well. So we explain everything it needs to do. Then if it is approved, we have a welcome email with a template here. We have a rejection email, and we then have a client dashboard. And this is where the users will see what the actual state of their account is. So we say your project is being prepared, here's what's next, and we will get them through everything they need to do. We have a database schema, which you can do, but you can also ignore this and let Lovable do everything. We have the technical requirements. We have some API keys that we need. We have some copy guidelines, and that's it. I will share this all in the description so you can copy paste everything. And I will add the prompts that I will use further in the video as well. So you can actually just copy paste this whole system and start an AI powered marketing agency yourself. So what we'll now just do is we can copy this here. We can go to Lovable and we can very simply just paste this in here and actually start the whole process. So let's do that. Okay, perfect. So it has loaded, and as you can see, this is not your typical Lovable project. We gave it a really good prompt and it made sure that this actually looks unique. Because everything is already AI, we want the landing page to actually look original, and I think it did a really good job. So your social media content handled. 30 branded posts every month. No meetings, no headaches. So we can click on start making content. We have a how it works section, we have a pricing section, and we have some testimonials. We have an FAQ, and obviously we need to change some things here because it can start automatically from the first second. So you get a few revisions requests per month depending on your tier, and this already looks super solid. So what we can do now is we created the front end. we made sure that the whole onboarding process was already done and we can actually start sending the emails, the first emails that I mentioned here, the create account and send welcome email. So what we now build is the first few things here. We have a collaboration request form, we have a lead qualification agent, we have a create account and send welcome email, and we have the payment. So until this point, we are already finished. So let me very shortly get you through how it currently works. So we can click on start making content. And we have this form, and this form looks great. I'm a really big fan of this whole style and it just looks amazing. So we can now fill our company name here. So we can say Everyman AI. We can add our name, Luc Alleman. And we can now add our email address. We can choose the tier. So for now, this is fine. We'll click on next. We need to add our Instagram handle. So that's this. We'll explain what our company does. And this is all about data retrieval. We need data to feed our AI agents so they actually know what they are talking about, what they are doing, for who they are doing this. So we say at Everyman AI, we build custom AI solutions and also teach others to do the same. We then have our target audience in one sentence. So we can say people who are interested in making money with AI. They want to build AI agents and complete SaaS products. Perfect. We click on next. We then add our logo. So we can choose a file here. So we'll have this one. We have our brand colors. So for now, this is fine. We have our example posts. So for example, we'll go to LinkedIn. I will go to my profile. I will then get some posts here. So for example, this one, I will get the URL. So we have 3 URLs. We have some content themes and topics. So I want to talk about AI, lovable AI agents. And now we can submit our request. So this is already very seamless, but what will now happen is even cooler. So we submit, it says check your email, we've sent you login credentials and next steps. So we'll go to my email, we have an email here which says you're in. Hey Luc Alleman, your request is approved, here's what happens next. We need to complete the payment link, we research your brand and you get 30 posts. And we obviously need to adjust these days here, but this is all building live, so it is not perfect yet. We have our password here and we have our email. So we can go back to our app, we can add our email address, our password, and we can click on login. Okay, so we are in the dashboard and as you can see here, we need to start with setting things up. So your project is being prepared, our account has been created, and we are now waiting for payment. So if I now open it in a preview screen, we can click on complete payment. And once we do this, we get sent to Stripe. And I now created a test plan because obviously I don't want to pay $500 to test my own app. And now you can see the brand research is also already done and we are now in the content creation phase. So the payment is received, will notify you at each step. So this is the part where we now actually need to build in the rest of the functionality because our content creation is not done yet. So now that we have done most of the front end, we need to start with the back end. And I will very shortly show you what I did. I used a few prompts to basically make sure everything until now was working. And this is also how the rest of this tutorial will be. I will not explain every debugging that I need to do because every app will be built different. Even with the same prompt, it will turn out a bit different and it's to you to actually make sure you get this working completely. The first prompt is really already a big part of what we are going to create, but after that, you just need to see what is going wrong and how to improve your app. Okay, so in the meantime, I fixed some errors and the way I do this is I just start to test out the app and if an error occurs, I go to Cloud here, I will go to Edge Functions. And basically for the edge functions, you can see the success rate and if something is failing, we just see it here. We can copy the logs. So for example here, the create payment function has logs here. And if an error occurs, we can click on it and copy it and paste it here. So like I said, I won't go through everything that I did. The main direction where this is heading is something I can help with. So what I did, I needed to add my recent API key. I needed to do some small fixes for the input, that everything was working correctly, but those were not large prompts, they were not complicated. We needed to make sure that the email was coming from the right email address. And we added a Stripe product for testing, so it was $1. Based on that, we actually had our whole first version of the app. And once we had that, we started with our second big prompt. And this was all the agent functionality, the scheduling functionality, and this was pretty hard to do. So how we do that is we can go back to our prompt library and we have our prompt here. And the prompts that you can see here are fine-tuned based on the errors that I had while making this. So you can copy this, you can then go to your app and you can paste it. And that will start the second phase. The thing was, it is a pretty large prompt with a lot of information. So what happened, and this might not happen to you, but when we scroll down, Lovable actually said, let's break this into phases. It started with phase 1 and then I said go on with phase 2, and phase 2 was actually adding the scraping functionality so that we could scrape the post examples, but we could also scrape the Instagram profile of our clients. So we needed to add our API key. And how we get that is when we go to API-Fi, you go to settings, you go to API and integrations, and you can create a new token here and very simply just paste it in here. Then we needed our mem0 API key, and from my last video I explained mem0. It's basically memory for AI agents. It enhances the quality of the answers. So you can go to mem0, you can create a free account, and you can click on get started. Then you have your dashboard here and you have API keys. You can create your API key and you can paste it here. So that's everything we needed to do. And in our prompt, it already explains to Lovable how to use those integrations. So we were just approving this, we were enabling AI, and phase 2 was complete. So after the payment, it scrapes the last 10 Instagram posts and LinkedIn posts, and it analyzes the brand voice using Gemini, and it stores the results into brand voice table and in mem0. So we then just said phase 3 please. So it was starting to implement phase 3, and that was the content scheduling and daily creation. It basically in one try did that. We then said phase 4 please, and it fixed everything. So how it currently looks like is already a bit more professional. So let me open this in a new tab. This was the old version. We have our brand voice that we can actually look at already. So our style is direct and educational, focusing on actionable strategies for building AI agents and SaaS products. That's true. So we should have a problem, and we have a solution and a call to action, medium caption length, and we have vocabulary guidelines. So we need to avoid complicated, difficult, boring, passive, unprofitable words. We have our content themes, and this is basically the analysis of our brand. So how this works is after someone made the Stripe payment, it starts the brand research flow. And we can look into our ads functions and see, for example, that our brand research function is working. And when we viewed the logs, I saw, even though it seemed like we didn't have an error, we did. So we had this error and we just copied the JSON and we paste that into here. So the brand research function gave an error. And we said, please make sure to fix this, check if the post examples of the input posts are Instagram or LinkedIn. And what we then did is we went back to API-Fi and we got the documentation from these actors. So for example, the Instagram scraper, and we provided it to Lovable. So we have our API here, we can click on API clients and copy paste this, and then it exactly knows how to start doing this. So we went back and it actually fixed it. It was a pretty large prompt. I will also add this to the prompt library, and now it should work. So we go back to our app and we can now actually see our 30-day content calendar. And as you can see here, every day is scheduled. We have a scheduled icon here, we have a generating icon here, and we have a ready/delivered icon here. And this is for everyone to basically see what is happening and the recent posts will be shown in here. So I think the core of our app is pretty much done. We now actually want to start the generating of the actual content. And even though this is scheduled, we also want to have a manual trigger so we can start testing it, fine-tuning it, and that's what I will show now. So how we do that is we say we now actually want to try out our content creation flow where the agents work together to create good posts and also review them, and basically the whole process that we already explained to you. Instead of waiting for it to run, can you please also make a button which if we click it, it will activate the post creation. So let's now run this and see if we can already test out the post and how it is actually looking, and we will probably run into a few bugs. We now have this button here which says test content, and when we click this, we are forcing our app to generate content for us. So we can then look at the results and then fine-tune even further. And what I want to show you now is the actual work behind building an app like this, because when you build AI, making sure that the output is good enough is obviously a very important point. And you need to really focus on that. Now with Lovable, we can go from 0 to 80 really quick. But the last 20% is the most important part, because this is where we are actually monitoring the output and making sure that what we are creating is actually working. So obviously this is not something that I do for a living. I am not actually running Postcraft, but I still took the time to really see what is happening in the backend and make sure to fine-tune the posts even further. So let me now very quickly show you what I changed. So we are having the settings right here. So this is a very simple page where a business can even later on in the process change their settings. When we now go back to the dashboard, you'll see here that we have some recent posts. And we can now click on a post and we have our calendar here. And as you can see here, I generated 18 posts before it came to a point where I was like, okay, the output is now good enough to actually show to you guys. Because when I now go to day one, I will show you what the first results were without any fine tuning. So it looked like this, and it had some text in here, and it had a logo which is not mine. And the caption was also very robotic, and I didn't really like this. So then I created another post, and let's see, this is day 4. It turned out even worse. It added my name here, it added the logo which is not mine, and as you can see here, seam it way, and here is also a spelling mistake, so it was not that good, but the post itself was better. So when we look at other posts, it took some iterations for it to become a bit better. As you can see here, it randomly got the number of the post and used that as the main topic, which doesn't make sense at all. It also added post number 10 here, so that was not good. Let me show you day 12. Here it turned out a bit better already. I think I removed a lot of text in the image itself because it wasn't generating a lot of good text, and it's still a bit tricky. But within maybe 4 or 5 months, it will be able to generate text as well, probably. I mean, the developments are going so rapid that these are all things that are currently a bit tough, but then in a few months it's probably very doable. What we did then is we created this, and the logo now was in there correctly, but it still had a background, and it also added a yellow background in the back. I do like this image though, and the captions were also pretty good. I am not a marketing specialist, obviously, and an agency would still do this better. Manual work, manual photoshopping is still better than AI photoshopping. But I see the potential here, like sending our clients an email every day and making it very easy for them to actually post a lot of stuff. So let me now run this whole process with this button, and then I will actually show you what is coming out right now. So when we want to look at what is currently happening, we can go to our cloud, we can go to Edge functions, we can go to create daily content, and we can say view logs. And as you can see here, it has started, daily content creation started, it found a scheduled post, we enabled test mode, so it always finds a post, even though maybe it's not the time to create that post yet. Then we are starting to create an outline for this post. We check the recent posts to make sure that we are having a lot of different posts. Then we start the image generator, and let's refresh this one right now. The post got approved. We have done a review. We have the image overlay, and as you can see here, it is really iteratively building a correct post. So let me now show you what the post actually looks like. Perfect. So we now have this post, which looks pretty solid. We have our logo in here, and it says stuck. And the caption is stuck chasing trends, losing ground to innovators. Your business needs an edge, a real one. AI isn't magic, it's leverage. So when we partner up with someone who can actually make the prompts even better, knows some specific strategies that we don't know about, I think this is actually something really useful. And as you can see here, we can request a revision here. We can now say what we want different. And this is already a pretty solid SaaS business. And obviously, we want to email our users. So when I go to my email, we can see here that we get an email every time our post is ready. And as you can see here, what is next? Review the post, download if approved, but request changes if needed. We can then just click on view post and see the actual post. So this is really cool. This is actually just a product already that is actually working with Stripe setup, user communication, AI features, everything. And I made this in only 2 hours. So really imagine what you can do when we spend like 2 days on this and really fine tuning everything. So if you want to build something like this yourself, please go to my prompt library where I put everything. We also have a special feature, which is the AI prompt writer, where you can put in your app description and my AI will make sure to rewrite your prompt using all the apps that we are using. So it already knows which API actors to use. It provides correct documentation. If you need MEM0 for this, it is actually providing the MEM0 documentation as well, and it knows everything on how to create apps. So if you have your own idea, don't hesitate to try this out and create cool stuff with it. Thanks for watching my complete video. If you have learned anything from it, please like and subscribe, because you will learn a lot more from the upcoming videos as well. So I will see you in the next one.